While other companies were still focused on gasoline engines, a Chinese company launched an EV that has been shaking up the entire market for the past 2 years. Without much fanfare, without big promises, a quiet but impactful entry. Priced at around $15,000, this car quickly became the choice for people who wanted an affordable, reliable, and fully electric vehicle. This car is called the Baojun Cloud, and that's where the story gets interesting. Imagine, while other brands were still dismissing EVs as the future, this car quietly hit the roads. No high-profile launch event, no big celebrity endorsements. Yet, people were buying it. The reason was clear. This car was built out of necessity, not for show. For everyday use, for families, and for those who wanted an EV but didn't want to break the bank. The Baojun Cloud's greatest strength is its simplicity. Not too much fancy design, not unnecessary technology, but as soon as you sit inside, you realize that this car is part of a well-thought-out plan. Every feature is placed exactly where it's needed. That's why this car has become more than just an affordable EV in China. It has become a trend. And now the question arises. When the price is between $13,000 and $17,000, how is this car managing to perform so well? Is there a secret hidden within that is troubling the big EV brands? Is this why BYD and other companies are facing tough competition in their own backyard? Before we continue with the video, please subscribe to the channel so you can be the first to see such videos. Because next, we will find out what battery technology is used in this car and how it is directly competing with BYD and other companies in China. Before learning about this EV car, it's essential to understand the story of the company that makes it. Because the Baojun Cloud is not a car that appeared out of nowhere, but rather a well-thought-out decision based on a deep understanding of the Chinese automobile market. China is the world's largest car market, and it has all kinds of customers, from those who buy luxury cars to the millions who simply want a reliable, affordable, and practical vehicle for everyday use. This is where the story of SAIC-GM-Wuling begins. This company is known in China not just for making cars, but for understanding the needs of the people. While many companies chase premium and high-margin vehicles, SAIC-GM-Wuling has always focused on the segment that is truly the backbone of the market, the middle class, people in smaller towns, and daily commuters. This is why the company's reach in China is not limited to cities, but extends to villages and Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities. If you want to understand the strength of this company, one name is enough: the Wuling Mini EV. This is the car that took EVs in China from being a luxury item for the wealthy to something accessible to the common man. Extremely small, extremely affordable, and extremely practical. This car proved that if the price is right and the needs are met, people are not afraid to adopt new technology. The sale of millions of units gave SAIC-GM-Wuling the confidence that the real future of EVs lies not in luxury, but in the mass market. And the next step in this thinking is the Baojun brand, and under that brand comes the Baojun Cloud. Now the question arises, what exactly is the Baojun Cloud? The Baojun Cloud is not an experiment, nor is it an attempt to copy a trend. This car is designed to fill the gap where people want an EV, but without compromise. Not on price, not on space, and not on comfort. It's specially designed for people who go to the office every day, drop their children off at school, take longer trips once or twice a week, and want driving to be a relaxing experience, not a stressful one. That's why the car is named Cloud. A cloud, light, calm, and moving silently. This car aims to provide exactly that kind of experience. The philosophy behind the Baojun Cloud is straightforward. A car designed for use, not just for show. You won't find the aggressive design that grabs attention at first glance, but becomes tiresome after a few months. Everything here is kept soft: the design, the ride, and the driving experience. The company knew that middle-class buyers look for value more than flashy features. They want low running costs, ample space, low maintenance, and reliable technology. The Baojun Cloud emerged as the answer to these needs. The biggest strength behind this car is that its manufacturer already understands how people think in China. Buying an EV here isn't just about the environment, but about affordability and practicality. SAIC-GM-Wuling has a large market share precisely because it launches products based on needs in every segment, not just relying on brand image. The Baojun Cloud is also part of that philosophy. This car doesn't claim to be the fastest or the most futuristic, but it says, "I will make your life easier." The price game. How an EV became possible at $15,000. When people first heard that a fully electric car like the Baojun Cloud was available for between $13,000 and $17,000, most couldn't believe it. The reason is clear. In most countries around the world, you can only get petrol or CNG cars at this price, and that too with basic features. When it comes to EVs, expensive batteries, high costs, and long recovery times usually come to mind. But the Baojun Cloud completely changed this perception. This car is proof that with the right planning, EVs can be affordable and sustainable. In reality, this price game wasn't achieved through a single magic trick, but through several small but smart decisions. First comes the manufacturing method. The Baojun Cloud is designed and manufactured in China, where almost the entire EV supply chain is already in place. From batteries to motors, chips to body parts, most components are sourced locally. The direct benefit of this is that import costs are saved, and the price of each part remains under control. When companies have to import batteries or electronics from abroad, the cost automatically increases, but that's not the case here. The second major factor is scale. Baojun and its parent company already manufacture and sell millions of cars. When you produce a large number of cars on the same platform, the cost per unit automatically decreases. This is why the Baojun Cloud is not a limited or niche product, but a car designed for the mass market. The company knew that if EVs were to truly become mainstream, they would have to be manufactured and sold in large numbers. And when the volume increases, the price naturally comes down. Now, if we compare it to other companies, the difference is clear. Around this same $15,000 price point, many brands offer petrol cars, which come with the added costs of the engine, gearbox, fuel system, and maintenance. The Baojun Cloud, on the other hand, has no engine oil, no clutch, and no gear-shifting hassles. This means that the post-purchase costs are also lower. The company didn't just focus on the showroom price, but also considered the total cost of ownership. This is why this car doesn't just look affordable, but is truly inexpensive in the long run. Now, let's talk about design and size, where the Baojun Cloud once again chooses a different path. Many cars these days are designed to look futuristic, but after a few months, they prove impractical. Very low seating positions, limited headroom, cramped seats, everything is just for show. The Baojun Cloud has completely ignored this trend. Its design isn't flashy, but it's sensible. From the outside, the car looks simple and clean, without unnecessary sharp cuts or aggressive lines. The advantage of this is that the car doesn't feel outdated quickly. The moment you sit inside, its true purpose becomes clear. The cabin space is designed so that 4 or 5 people can sit comfortably without feeling cramped. The seats aren't overly sporty, but rather soft and supportive. ensuring comfort during everyday use. Importantly, there's ample legroom for rear seat passengers, which isn't always the case in this segment. This car isn't designed for solo drivers, but rather with family use in mind. The boot space also reflects this philosophy. The Baojun Cloud's boot is large enough to easily accommodate a week's worth of groceries, children's school bags, or a small travel bag. These are things that might not impress much when standing in a showroom, but they are incredibly useful in everyday life. That's why it's said, this car shines not in the showroom, but on the road. You only truly understand its value when you drive it every day. The real game changer: battery technology. By now, one question must be lingering in your mind after seeing the Baojun Cloud. How does such an affordable EV manage to be so good? Because the truth is, the real heart of any electric car is its battery. Design, features, screen. Everything else comes later. If the battery is weak, unsafe, or prone to failure, the entire EV becomes useless. And this is where the Baojun Cloud truly turns the tables. Initially, the company didn't make much noise. No big claims, no heavy words like next-gen revolution. But as people started using the car, it gradually became clear that its greatest strength is its battery technology. The battery used in the Baojun Cloud is an LFP, or lithium iron phosphate battery. The name might sound technical, but this is what makes it affordable, safe, and long-lasting. The biggest advantage of LFP batteries is their stability. These batteries don't overheat, don't react easily, and remain stable even in extreme conditions. While other lithium-ion batteries carry the risk of overheating and fire, LFP batteries are considered quite safe in that regard. This is why, in a country like China, where the number of EVs is very high, both the government and companies trust this battery technology. Choosing LFP for the Baojun Cloud meant sacrificing a bit of flashy performance, but not compromising on reliability. Now, let's talk about the price. LFP batteries don't use expensive materials like cobalt and nickel. These metals are what drive up the cost of batteries. The Baojun Cloud's battery uses iron-based chemistry, which is both inexpensive and readily available. This directly impacted the car's price. When the battery is cheaper, the entire car becomes cheaper, and that's why a full EV around $15,000 became possible. But being cheap isn't enough. The question is, does this battery last a long time? The answer is yes, and that's its other major strength. LFP batteries have a very good cycle life. This means you can charge and discharge them thousands of times without significant capacity loss. While some EVs start showing noticeable range loss after 4 to 5 years, LFP batteries degrade slowly. The Baojun Cloud is designed to provide consistent performance for years, even with daily use. Now, let's talk about overheating and fire risk, because that's the fear that still keeps many people away from EVs. The battery chemistry used in the Baojun Cloud inherently helps prevent thermal runaway. This means that even if the battery temperature rises for some reason, it won't suddenly explode or catch fire. In addition, the company has kept the battery management system simple yet reliable. Instead of overly complex electronics, the focus is on stable monitoring and protection. This is why very few fire incidents have been reported for this car. Another important question is, does a cheaper battery mean weak performance? Here, the Baojun Cloud surprises again. This battery may not be built for racing, but it's absolutely perfect for daily driving. Smooth acceleration, steady power delivery, and a stress-free drive in traffic. That's its purpose. The company knew that the middle-class buyer doesn't need to win drag races. They need to comfortably go to the office every day. drop the kids off at school, and return home without any tension in the evening. In terms of charging, the LFP battery also proves practical. You can charge it to 80–90% every day without worrying about battery health. With other batteries, frequent fast charging can accelerate degradation, but LFP is more forgiving in this respect. This is why the Baojun Cloud is designed for a daily charging routine, not for occasional luxury use. Most importantly, the Baojun Cloud's battery isn't based on any future promises. It's built for today's needs, neither over-engineered nor underpowered. Safe, stable, and predictable. These three words define this battery. And perhaps that's why people don't just call the Baojun Cloud a cheap EV, but a smart EV. The inner world, interior, and comfort. Now, if the simplicity of the exterior attracts you to the Baojun Cloud, sitting inside makes you realize that this car is built for living in and driving, not just for show. The Baojun Cloud's interior may not look very futuristic at first glance, but its real impact begins after a few minutes of sitting inside. The first thing that catches your attention is its wide dashboard. Everything in front feels open and spacious. There's no feeling of pressure or clutter. The height and width of the dashboard are designed so that the driver can see everything clearly without straining their neck or eyes. The screen placement is also well thought out. The screen is neither too high nor too low, but right around eye level, so it doesn't distract while driving. The touch response is smooth, but the company hasn't made it unnecessarily complex. This means you don't need to delve into the menu for every little thing. AC, volume, drive settings, everything is kept simple and direct. This simplicity comes in very handy on long drives, as you don't have to constantly struggle with the system. When it comes to the seats, the Baojun Cloud follows the same philosophy. Comfort first. The seats aren't overly sporty or hard. They have a certain softness, but not so much that body support is compromised. This reduces pressure on the back and shoulders during long journeys. This is a major plus point, especially for those sitting in the rear seats. 4 people can sit comfortably without feeling like anyone is having to compromise. Both headroom and legroom are adequate, preventing fatigue even after sitting for extended periods. A noise-free drive is another strong point of this car. Because it's electric, there's no engine noise, but road noise and outside sounds are also kept out of the cabin to a great extent. In city traffic, this car feels almost silent. This is why many people say that driving the Baojun Cloud keeps your mind at ease. You focus on the drive, not the noise. Now let's talk about range and real-life usage, because this is where the difference between paper specifications and reality becomes clear. The range claimed by the company is under ideal conditions, but the special thing about the Baojun Cloud is that its performance doesn't drop significantly in real-world conditions either. For daily commutes in the city, with normal traffic and AC, this car comfortably provides a consistent range. You don't have to leave home every day wondering, will the charge run out today? Daily office commutes, dropping the kids off at school, going to the market. This EV handles all these tasks without any drama. Even with the AC on, the range doesn't drop significantly because the power delivery is smooth and controlled. This is why charging anxiety is reduced. You drive the car all day and comfortably put it on charge at night. In terms to charging, the Baojun Cloud has been designed keeping real users in mind. Charging it from a normal home socket is entirely possible. This car fits perfectly into an overnight charging routine. You plug it in at night and leave in the morning with a full or almost full charge. You don't need an expensive setup or special wiring for this. If you're ever in a hurry, the option of a public fast charger is also available. On fast charging, this car takes a significant charge in a reasonable amount of time, making you ready for city driving again. But the company hasn't made it dependent on fast charging, and that's its biggest practicality.